All right, I'm just gonna put away this touchpad. I wanna show you how to put it away properly. These just unplug by the plug, not the cable, so it comes out easily. All right, you can take this pad. Okay. There for a sec. I just want you guys to take note. You can see that each cable is running along the same notch that the pad's in, with the cable draping behind the pads. This does a couple things. It keeps the cable from getting compressed between the pad on top of it and itself. It keeps the connection block pretty loose, so that way you're not getting a lot of tension on it. And it keeps this nice and organized. And when you take them off and put them on, they come right off nice and easy. They just go on, Velcro underneath holds it in place. Just drape it over there, over the top. Personal preference of mine is I like to just wrap it around once. Nice and loose. And it just brings these up a little bit so they're not snipping on your feet. And then the buttons, I just like to drape on the opposite side like so. And then those are all put away. They don't have a relay judging part. So the relay judging platform. But underneath, all you do is flip this little lever. It's just a hook that unhooks. Other side should be the same. Flip that lever. Unhook that hook. Now that is all unhooked. Easiest way is to just slide it forward. Oh, time out. You gotta disconnect this. Disconnecting this, just make sure you pull it out straight. And that cable's nice. That can go in with your other cables. Oh, actually, you know what? Hang on to that. We're just gonna throw it right in that box. Then you can see this just slides out and forward. And what we'll do is we'll just use this, put it right back in the box from whence it came.
He knows exactly how it is, and test the water for it,
Yeah, the line marker is small too.
the line marker. Look how small that thing is.
That's the line marker. Yeah,
Scott, you're gonna have to sort out. There we go. Oh. All right, there's your relay judging platform. This is your backstroke starter. We don't really have any kind of rack, so you're just gonna probably have to get a shelf or something. But you can see this just has this piece here. Just grip the knob and push it in. Open it full. Once it's open full, the cable will loosen. And then you can just the cable, pull that right through. That just goes up. Your block, your backstroke starts are a little bit low for this piece of the equipment, so you're just going to have to put them in through the back. And then that comes out like so. You may want to keep a little zip tie or something to roll that up. The rest of them are over in that box up there.
I look over there.
Yeah, it's 6, so. But these you're just gonna store on a shelf or
Yeah,
however.
they'll end up in here if you want to just put it next to that box.
Yeah. The starter is on a tripod. It's completely up to you how to store it. For me, I'm just going to carry it inside the office, leaving it right on the tripod. I'll leave the microphone plugged into it. And typically part of the storage is using this. This is the charger, since this runs on batteries. It can run on batteries or it can run plugged in. And what I'll do with this is I'll just plug this in to any standard outlet. Right here you have external power. It's keyed, so just line the key up. And that is now charging. Now I'm just looking for something I could tie this off with so that you don't have a million miles of
Here,
key.
here. The little one.
Yep.
But it's something.
That's fine. Right now we're charging.
Is there a little green light indicating charging over there?
No. Okay. That's all. You would think there would be a light, but there's not. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to the diving next. Okay. Okay, so for diving, you have power. Man down. You can see right here we have this 12 volt DC power here. It could also run off of the USB, but I like to have the 12 volt DC because I want to try to get these backlights lit up. The USB runs into the computer that controls the diving. The 12 volt DC runs out of here into a power supply into a wall plate. These cables here are called RS-485 cables. These 485 cables run from where it says RS-485 out into this is called the breakout. You'll notice that these cables are shorter and this cable is very long. That long cable will run out to where your judges are sitting, and then the cable breakout will handle all these other 485 cables breaking out of the single input output here. You can see the other side also has an input output as well. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is when I plug these in, you'll see these boot up. And then it'll ask me what judge number I want it to be. You can see it's booting up. and it's saying please enter judge number. This will be judge number 1. This will be judge number 2. You can see right now they're saying judge number 2, please wait. It's waiting for us to tell it to do something. Judge number 3, enter. Alright, so now I'm going to boot up the computer. Well, the computer's already on, I think. Hello? Is the computer on?
Put the pause up. That sucks.
No, that's mine.
Alright, here's the Gen 7 I've already downloaded on here, so I'm going to open my Gen 7 diving program.
That's the one you downloaded before?
Yeah. Alright, so I can add a meet, and this is, Gen 7 is very easy to use. So I'm just going to say first meet host Branford. Today's date, end date will be and enter. We hit OK. Now I've created my first meet here. Current event none, no events defined. So first thing I want to do is let's check out our settings quickly. Language, the theme, light, dark, the accent color. So we have dark backgrounds with blue on the front. We're just going to stick with that. If I want to change the accent color to purple, that's all that accent color does. I'll leave it as that blue. We don't need to enable interface animations, or I mean, we don't need to disable them. Enable. I'm not quite sure actually what interface animations do. Yeah, so we'll just leave it on. If you do have a meet management connection, that's like your Easy Meets or US Dive, whatever program you happen to be using, this is where you can connect to it, but since we don't have it, we're not going to worry about it. In diving, if you have a number of divers, sometimes you're interested in what it takes to get to the cutoff places, i.e. if you're doing top 12, then you probably want to know where 6th is and where 12th is. So right now, the second overtake place is what it's going to take to get to 2nd place, what it's going to take to get to 3rd place, plus, plus, minus, minus, we'll change those values. Scoreboard. Oh, yes, by the way, the scoreboard will plug into this CTS 232 jack.
Okay.
So this jack will plug from here into the wall, and you'll get your diving on the scoreboard.
So basically, when we switch to diving, we just unplug it from the Colorado, throw it into that box, so that diving goes up there. We don't have to change it on the Colorado.
Yep. All right, so judging terminals are enabled. They're going to show the judges' awards on the terminals. Now the info on the terminals is all set to show, so that means it's going to show the diver's degree of difficulty, the diver's name, and the diver's team, and what dive they're doing, so that way whatever's programmed in here, if the ref misses it or whatever, they can see it right on here and helps them.
That's huge, because I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched a diver not do a correct dive and nobody says anything.
Yeah.
Because nobody was paying attention when the dive was read out loud.
And this has it. This will have it
This
all
at least has
set.
that catch
Yep.
for them.
That will go from the computer to those there, right? So the
Yeah, so that judges, instead of like throwing up a number, they'll plug it in there and they'll automatically pop up there. So you'll see Judge 1 gave him a 6, Judge 2 gave him a 6.5, Judge 3 gave him an 8.
So I'm going to add an event really quickly here. It's going to be event number, well, I guess typically it'd be event number 5 if you're doing a high school meet.
Does it really matter?
No, it doesn't. You guys are always gonna be using a 1 meter springboard. It's not synchro. Typically you have 6 dives, but 3 judges. So we're gonna bring that down to 3 judges. We'll just, for the sake of it, we'll just say there's no gender. Men's, women's, whatever gender you want. Typically high school is gonna be a finals, but you can set it up to be a prelims or semifinal. And the age group are just gonna keep open. So I'm gonna save and close. If I wanted to create a second event, I could just do save, new, and it would create a second event. I'm gonna set this back. 1, save and close. All right, so here it is. The event we just set up. First meet, running today, 1 meter finals. And now I can just as easily add divers, hit plus. Last name, first name, we'll use Scott. Butler, Scott. Team, VHS. Diving in order number 1, and your starting score will be 0. We'll just do a basic dive list. 101C, 203B, 302A. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. 403C, 5223D, 105B. All those A's, B's, and A, B, C's, and D's mean is it's straight dive is A, pike dive is B, tuck dive is C, and free dive is B. And we're just going to do save and new, and for the new guy we'll do Carbone, C-A-R-B-O-N. Does he have any on there?
Yeah.
We'll just call it Joe. We'll say he's on VHS 2. His dive order is 2. His starting score is 0. Alright. And save and close. Alright. So now we have 2 divers. We can easily see their dive list right here. Very simple. We can add additional divers or edit divers or remove divers. Edit event, we can change it. And for us, we're just going to go right to running the event. So you can see right now the system's waiting for us to, you know what? Is this the problem here? Is this why I'm having an issue? Oh, that's much better. I'm like, why can't I get the black lights on? The backlight on. All right, there we go. So when I hit run event, this is all going to switch to the information on the screen. Run event. Here's everything I need to know about that. I can enter this stuff manually if I like, but you can see right here, I have the diver's name, the diver's dive, the degree of difficulty, and when we're ready to enter a score, we'll just say he did a 6.5, so we just hit 6.5, send enter, we'll do a 5, send enter, and he gave himself a 10, so very nice. So, all the dive scores are in. At that point it would show on the board. You can see it's here. It's calculated his total score automatically. It tells you who's up next. I mean, everything you need to know about what's going on with this event is here. So, we're going to want to go to the next dive now. Right here is this nice little arrow. Boop. Next dive. Same thing. You can see the guy's name, the score, the DD, and we can enter. And you can see the judges' scores all come in. Notice they come into the system via the judge number. They don't go in a numbered order. So that way I always know, for example, maybe Judge 3 is always lower than the other 2 or whatever, but it's there. So now when I hit next again, it's going to go right back to Scott's dives, so on and so forth until the event's done. And then at that point you can score and place and do all that stuff.
At the end, can you print them?
Yes, you can, and that'll just print to a standard printer.
Gotcha.
So right here you have this reports button. Click reports. You can have the start list, which will basically tell the divers what they're doing, or what you have them doing. If they need to make changes at a time, they can change it. The detailed start list, the announcers list, results of the dive, which would be post-event. So I guess these would be your pre-event reports, and these would be your post-event reports.
Yep.
And those will just print out. And
So the detailed results is what I print. The official would sign it. Kid signs
the detailed
it.
results,
Coach signs it.
Yes.
Because typically in a swim meet or the diving, they would sign those things beforehand. The diver would attest that they could do the dive. The coach attests that they can do the dive. Not that it matters
That
to
would
me
be
because I don't do the diving.
That would be CIC regulations, and maybe that. I don't know. When I do college meets now, there's no dive sheets.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too, because I run.
You just say, here's the dive you're doing. If you want to initial this and send it back to us.
You want to know the best part about your comment of contacting CIAC?
Yeah.
Because I'm now the tournament director for CIAC.
That was what I heard.
Yeah, it's me.
I was like, didn't you?
So the person I'm going to contact would be myself.
Yeah.
So I think we can do away with the pre-signing.
But yeah, I was telling him before. I was like, I thought he moved on to like another job or something, and that's what I had seen. You had gotten.
Well, I moved up to tournament director. I'm still coaching, but I'm no longer like meet director. I'm running the whole thing now.
Really quick, we're taking a back step here, but this is your flagpole mount.
Oh wow.
Let's take a quick walk over and I'll show you how to set this up.
That would be for the strobe light or the
For the
speaker?
starter.
For the starter.
So if you wanted to, you can hook this onto this flagpole, and you would just have to run a cable all the way down here. You might not ever use this, but
Well, that's what it's for.
hook this, you can even hook it up to the ladder, I guess. But you can see you have a big wing nut here. You can just loosen this wing nut up.
Yeah.
You got the lock washer to keep it from loosening during the meet. This just clamps on and over.
And it just sets on.
That hooks over there. You tighten this down. And then you just drop your starter right on here with the tripod mount. You can just take it right off the tripod, put it on here. Good to go to take this off. Just loosen it up to the point where it'll come off. All done.
That's cool. Yeah, Mike, can you believe that John O'Connor stayed on as tournament director all the way up until last year?
Who was it before him? Was that Gaffney?
I couldn't tell you. John O'Connor was coaching for 40 years. He's been
Yeah.
coaching in that probably 45 years.
Getting up there, what I remember.
Oh, he's old now. I mean,
He
I
was
still
old
in
then.
Yeah. He's got to be closing in on 80.
Yeah.
And he did it right up until last year.
No, my dad was the same way. My dad kind of is the same way. He only gave up on softball
What's
a year
crazy
ago.
is I took over for him here 15 years ago when he retired. But yet for that job, I just took it over for him this year for when he retired from that.
He kept going.
He kept going. But that's a job that you can keep going with.
While
It's
we
just
were
a lot of
retired.
like paper pushing,
Yeah.
communications, agreements, rental agreements.
You good on the train?
Just really quick, I want to go over the clocks. Scott, we opted to take your clock off the wall.
Yep.
If you do want me to get up there and get them on the walls, I'll happily come back for you to get them. But the decision was made to keep them on the ground because these are training clocks as well. These aren't just, right now you can see I just got them operating as a
Right,
basic
but they're
clock.
not just a pace clock. I could program
Yes.
it like that.
So if you wanted to work on relay transitions, you actually have functions on here, all these different functions to connect in. So you can plug a touchpad in, you can plug a relay platform in, and then if you want to see how long it takes a kid to get off the block from a relay transition,
takeoff.
you would have the relay junction plugged in. You use the relay platform plugged into here.
Plugged into here.
The touchpad plugged into here, and it would give you the hundredths of a second it takes for the kid to touch the pad and the kid to get off the block.
That's awesome. That's why you want it to be portable.
Yes, and I said if they want to use that because they have the equipment to use that, they can't use it if it's 10 feet in the air. So
no, and I'm glad there's at least one block that has it, so we can designate like lane 1 is going to work on relay transitions for the next X minutes.
Yep, and you can also work on start reaction times that way too, because you can just have that on, and then you would just plug the relay platform in, plug the start system in, take your mark, and it'll tell you it took the kid 0.4 seconds to get off the block.
That's awesome.
You also have, I mean, you'll have to go online. There's like so much stuff on there. It has breakout speed.
Yep.
And if you get like the 15-meter connection, you can actually plug the 15-meter into the. You hook this connection up onto the wall, and you plug it into here. And the second it breaks connection, it'll tell you how long it took to go 15
to get
meters.
to 15 meters.
Yeah. Which is great for if you're going underwater backstroke, or if you just want to see how long it takes to get 15 meters.
Well, there's so many times where you're discussing with the athletes, you break out here, how many tips?
Yeah. Is it fast? Are you faster underwater?
Right.
Have you slowed down at 15 meters?
Yeah.
So all of that is why we decided to put it down here, but you have the functionality for a good portion of that stuff. So right now, I'm just going to show you that is set up as a slave to this. And the other thing was, where they have it way up there, like if you're in lane 1, you're like,
breaking your neck.
Yeah, so now it's right here on the bottom.
Well, I say too, I mean, like for gym classes, stuff like that, that's not going to be out anyway. That's going to be all stored away.
Yeah.
Only used during practice time.
So think of it as scoreboard is receiving data and training is transmitting data.
That's why it's on transmitting, so that one can pick it up.
How's it going?
You're Dina.
I am. Kristen.
Me? Yes!
I'm running into all you old crew recently. I ran into
Matt?
No,
See Matt
I don't. I never see Matt. I run into Derek and I think Derek.
Blonde Derek?
No, Derek People's Champ. Remember what?
Derek Ringo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I ran into him at the yacht club recently,
Okay.
and he said him and Greg and Mike DiVinero all work for the pool company.
Yeah, Mike works for Custom Aquatics.
Yeah. It's funny seeing all you guys in the.
I knew I noticed you, and I'm like, I think that's the guy's DNAP. Oh man! All right, let me get to it.
Yeah, I'm almost done here. All right, so these are, you've seen these used. This is an on-off switch. It's got a plug over here. This also has a battery which runs up to 8 hours. Turns it on, turns it off. That one should have stopped.
It did.
Yep. So now when I turn this on, it's gonna reset. That's gonna pick up exactly where this is. I set the intensity to 10. I figure that's bright enough. You can see now.
Yep.
That's reset.
That's awesome.
The easiest way is to go onto the Colorado website, and you also should have the books for these. I did put them aside. That'll tell you all the different training modes you can do, and you'll know what you want when you see it.
Yeah.
To store these, you can store them however you want. I recommend turning, these have bends on them, so I would just bend this and turn this here so it's not sticking up where it's easy to
Or
break.
out, where somebody's going to knock
Out,
it.
right there, it's nice and tucked away, and you're golden. If I unplug this, it should stay on, and it does. It switched over to battery really quickly, but...
Yeah, those are going to get stored up in here as well.
Okay, well, we can turn those off and pack these up then. Which is the cable. Oh, the diving stuff. Let's go over how to put that away. I'm sorry.
And that's that other box, right?
Yep.
An emergency light for night?
Yeah, this room's got a ways to go, but we'll figure out a way. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing that I have a room like this.
Yes.
You know, not many
nice
places
shelves
have
on
something like this.
This is amazing. Okay. So these are just your cables. These are just a half twist off, unplug, half twist off, unplug. You notice they power right down themselves. And I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. These kind of things are like, if you have like 8,000.
Oh, I see.
If you're running like a dive meet with, you know, 4 boards, 6 boards going at the same time, each with 5 judges, you might have a bunch more of these diving terminals, but they store nicely just like that. These all disconnect all the same way. Half turns, all the same cable. You also have room for a second breakout, so that way if you wanted to go one breakout here, one breakout over there, you're good. All this just unplugs nice. This just goes in here. This is just the power cable for that, so we probably want to. I think it'll be too tight a fit to store everything in there. But the power cable, we'll just, you know, that's if there's a second one of those, but
Gotcha.
we can just use the power cable there. This is just a USB-A port.
Okay.
So it's a pretty standard cable, but we're going to store it in here as well, so that way everything you have is
Right here.
right here ready to rock since you're not using some of this stuff. Maybe we can. This isn't really how you would store it, but if we
Since we only
can
have 3.
if we can keep everything together, why not?
Absolutely.